Cool. Okay, so we're going to do a little training. Sorry, I'm a bit zonked. I've literally just come out of one of our platinum transformation sessions in our paid group, and it was a massive, massive session. So I'm still processing myself, I think. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys are interested in deep self-transformation, just hit stand on myself up, because yeah, we got it going on in the paid programs. But today I want to do just a little training on emotions and what to do when you find yourself in a dark place, which we all do from time to time. Now, I don't tend to find myself in these dark places so much anymore, but please know that I did, and it was very normal for me to have really big negative downward spirals, you know, and end up in a place where, you know, it wasn't really a nice place to be. And more often than not, you know, and then I beat myself up for being in that place, and of course that just keeps you there. So there's a few little things you can do if you find yourself, you know, in a dark place. And I'm going to show you a little tool. I'm going to share my screen first. Okay. All right, okay. So what I've got here is the Ladder of Emotions, and it was developed by Colette Stryker, who has developed the MAP methodology. So that's the method of subconscious reprogramming, or one of the methods of subconscious reprogramming that I practice. Okay, so what she talks about in particular, you know, she's got this area, this sweet spot for manifesting, you know, the frame of mind, the feelings that we're in when the good things show up in our life. And she's got this here as optimism, positive expectation, belief, enthusiasm, eagerness, happiness, passion, joy, certainty, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. And, you know, this is just a few, I'm going to be sharing some perspectives. So I'm not saying this is how it is, you know, but definitely if you've got some perspective to share, please share it in the comments, because there are a number of different ways of looking at emotion. And I'm going to share a few with you as well. But this is one tool. So Colette uses this a lot in MAP. And I've found it to work. So I've experimented this with myself and been quite surprised. You know, I'm sure you're very familiar with, you know, how a negative thought spiral can compound on itself exponentially, and before you know it, you're just in this pit of just unpleasantness. But what I want you to know is that similarly, you can consciously create an upward spiral, and it too has the same exponential power. Okay, so essentially what we could do, this is how it works, it's quite fun. The only difficulty is, you know, and I know what it's like, you know, you're in that really black place down here, and just to decide that you don't actually want to feel that way anymore. Okay, because that's probably the only decision, is like just notice where you are and have that awareness, and then decide, well, you know, am I going to stay here or do I choose to move out of it? So here's one technique of moving out of it. So let's use this as an example. Let's say a relationship breakdown. Okay, you split up with your partner and you are here down at number 22. You're feeling depressed, you're feeling despair, complete powerlessness. You know the feeling, it's just utter weakness. It's very, very small, very, very kind of contracted, very powerless feeling. Okay, but so let's say, but you have some awareness. So you go, you know what, I'm feeling depressed. I feel like crap. I'm really sitting here, but, you know, it's not serving me. I don't really want to be here. So if I was to be honest with myself, you know, if I really thought about it, you know, I could say, well, actually, I'm just feeling unworthy. Really feeling unworthy of love, if I was to really be honest with myself and truly think about it. And as you sit there in your unworthiness and feeling unworthy, you know, if you were to be honest with yourself, you could say, well, you know, in truth, I'm actually really jealous. I'm really jealous of that other guy, that other girl. Maybe you're even jealous of your partner who maybe has a newfound freedom, but you could just say, I'm really jealous. And as you sit there in your jealousy, you could say, I really hate that such and such, and just I'm so infuriated. And as you sit there in your hatred and rage, you go, you know what? Oh, I would really love for that person to experience what I'm feeling now. I really hope they go and get their heart broken, and I really hope it hurts. As you sit there having your revenge feelings, you could say, if I was to be really honest with myself, I'm so angry. I'm so angry at her or him. I'm so angry that this whole thing has happened. I'm just feeling really, really angry. Now, as you sit there in your anger, and if you were to be honest with yourself, you could say, well, if I really am truthful with myself, I'm really feeling discouraged. I'm really feeling discouraged right now. I really thought that this was going to be it. I put so much time, effort, money, energy, focus into this relationship, and it's all gone. So as you sit there in your discouragement, you could go, you know what? I did so much. The other person didn't do so much. I did all I can do. It's the other person's fault. And as you sit there, in your blaming the other person, you could say to yourself, if I really was to be truthful and honest with myself, I'm worried that I'll never find another partner again. I'm doubtful that I'm going to find another partner. And as you sit there in your worry and doubt, you could be truthful and be honest with yourself and say, well, you know what? I'm really bloody disappointed. I'm feeling so disappointed that this thing didn't turn out. I had so many hopes, and now I'm just really disappointed. And as you sit there in your disappointment, you could say to yourself, well, if I'm really honest with myself and truthful, I'm feeling overwhelmed at the thought of even going back out there into the world to look for a new partner. Like, imagine just having to go out on dates again, making connections, breaking other people's hearts, the disappointment of not having, hoping that things might work and it not. I'm just feeling really overwhelmed with the thought of all of that. And as you're sitting there in your overwhelmment, you could go, well, you know what? I'm just impatient to get going. Gosh, so much, we spent so much time together and now it's all over. And I'm really looking for the right partner. I'm just feeling impatient. I'm feeling frustrated that I'm back where I was at the beginning. And allow yourself in that frustration to be pessimistic. Go, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I'm never going to find the one. And as you sit there thinking of these things, you suddenly realize that maybe I'm just bored. I've got all this, just need to get out and do something and occupy my mind. So, and it's quite okay if it makes sense to skip a level 2. And as you're sitting there bored and think, I'm just going to go out for a walk, what have I got to lose? I know I feel better when I go for a walk. So you go out for a walk and the sun's shining and you see some nice things that you like, maybe a beautiful tree or some flowers. Maybe somebody smiles at you, walks past you with a dog. Maybe a nice person of the opposite sex smiles at you and suddenly you feel optimistic. You know what? I can look after my body. I can make myself attractive again. I can put out the vibe that I am available and a great catch for somebody as you continue on your walk. But, and lo and behold, here you are up in our little magic sweet spot. Okay, now, clearly it's hard to get from hatred and rage straight up into passion, enthusiasm, eagerness, happiness, okay? But it doesn't take much to just jump through those steps, and it can literally take as long as it just did then, So that's one way of moving through emotions. There is another way of moving through emotions, and it's probably the one that I prefer the most. This is quite a manual task. I will put this PDF in the files. You'll have access to it. But sorry guys, I'm so processing from that session. My preferred way of dealing with emotions when we're not dealing with subconscious reprogramming. So in MAP we can just sort of take these and just neutralize them straight away. But people can also use that as a crutch. It becomes really powerful, and they're feeling a negative emotion, and they go, oh, I need a MAP session. But in fact, there's a way that we can deal with it. So let's say we're feeling jealous. Okay, so these things happen, we're feeling jealous, and we could just hate on ourselves and say, you know what, I know this is a negative feeling, I shouldn't be feeling this way, da 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 da, and kind of push it down. But what happens when you do that is it just keeps coming back. It will just keep coming back over and over and over again. So this is why this is my preferred method as well. So there's some really great information there in that jealousy. Okay, and if we move out of that too soon, we sometimes lose the lessons and lose the power. But what you will notice is if you start feeling jealous and you have the courage to open yourself up to feeling even more of that, to say, hey, I'm going to explore this. I'm going to be open to as much jealousy as in my heart right now. And you open your heart up to that. And it can be scary, you will notice though what will happen is you're feeling jealous, you open your heart up to that, and the feelings will increase, and they'll increase, and they'll increase, and other stuff might come out, and you might be a hot mess, and that's okay, but what you will find if you allow all of that to be present, that it will peak, and then it will actually subside. And what follows after that is peace, and it's deep peace. So this is why I love this process. And once you do it, find a safe space where you're not going to be interrupted, and it's not going to be suddenly embarrassing if someone walks in or anything like that. But see what happens. To just allow yourself to be, full of whatever that negative emotion is. And then notice the peace that's on the other side of that. And now you will notice here that there is no peace. There's no peace up here. And the reason why I think it's been kind of missed is that I think peace is accessible from any of these emotions really quickly. And this is where meditation really comes in to be useful as a tool, because when you're able to just take thought from your mind and just exist in thoughtlessness for a little while, there is so much peace that comes along with that. And you can choose to dip into that at any point. Okay, so that's the little hack for today. Yes, the hack is, you can move up through your emotions. You can let your emotions pass through you. But the biggest hack is peace, you will find, is accessible so much easier to you, regardless of how you feel. And when you can dip into that peaceful moment, it's really easy to kind of circumvent all of this stuff, dip into peace, and you might find that some of this stuff just pops up for you. All right, so I hope that's a useful little training for you. If you are struggling with, big emotions, please reach out to myself or Stan. We're here to help. We're here to serve. This is exactly what we're here for. And yeah, it was a pleasure to create this little training. I hope it was useful, and see you at the next one.